Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot and welcome to your readings for the full moon in Capricorn, 24th of July. Obviously, these readings are meant to cover the 2 weeks, the 4 weeks, or the 6 and a bit months, or just under 6 months, isn't it? From the full moon in Capricorn back to the new moon in Capricorn, which will be sometime around Christmas. I should have looked that date up before I started. So, as ever, it's a general reading. General reading rules apply. Do not give away your power to a tarot reader. In these readings, there's 2 rows of cards. The top row represents the archons trying to suppress you, and the bottom row represents the gods themselves trying to lift you up, reconnect you with the divine. By their very nature, they are dramatic. So take it all with a pinch of salt and just bear in mind that I can't necessarily be reading for everybody. So there is a timestamp in the description below because I'm going to discuss the full moon itself first. But I've put the timestamp there, so if you want to not ignore my waffle, you can jump ahead to the reading. I won't be offended much. But I would say watch your sun, your moon, and your rising. Now, I'd say the moon because that would normally deal with the emotional stuff, but it's a full moon. It's a lunar reading. Go and look at your moon. Especially with this one, because there's a little something I want to bring up about not just the full moon, but what happens the day before, the day as I am filming this now. Now, as ever, there is a link down there in the description for the Facebook group for this Facebook page for this channel. Basically, it's got an inbox. So if you want to contact me for a personal reading, that's one of the best ways to do it. There's a link tree down there that will take you to all of my different social media, but Facebook's the best way. I am trying to grow the channel, so any subscriptions or pressing of like buttons would be greatly appreciated. And of course, if you haven't caught it, I will be, or well, by the time this goes live, I will have already done a show with astrologer David Fisher, where we're discussing the ins and outs of the full moon in terms of Hellenistic astrology. I've got some other things that I wanted to point out. Now, I am really, really excited about this full moon. I'm sure there was something else housekeeping I had to say. Now it'll come to me. Oh yeah, you can ask a question before you're reading if you want. I don't think it's the sort of reading where you're necessarily going to get an answer, not like my monthlies or some of my other readings. It's just a general look at the forces that are around for you to take advantage of or dodge, whichever way you want to look at it. Right. So this is the first full moon after the eclipse seasons. Now, if I bring my notes up so I can remember what I'm talking about, this is the degree here is ruled by, I always struggle with these, Yael, who is all about letting go and mental force. But the degree angels, which I've not mentioned on these videos before, the degree angels also control a 5-degree arc each. So this 5-degree arc is ruled by Mabahia, who is about putting thought into action, who is about intellectual lucidity. And Yael is about, as I said, letting go, mental force. That puts a lot more context into this full moon, whereas we have been working so very hard to plan and to decide and to find ways to move forward. We've discussed this on the astrology shows with David. We've discussed this in the readings. That's setting your plans up, getting all your ducks in a row, all of that preparation work. Now it's time to do it. When you know there is that thing that you want to let go of, now is the time to let go of it. I know you'd normally say that new moons are good for letting go and full moons are about completion. And that's what I'm talking about, the completion of the letting go process that we have already started into motion. Now, as well as the 5-degree arc, The decans themselves are ruled by the goetic spirits, the known as the 72 demons that Solomon summoned. Although I would question whether the term demon for them is actually fair. I think it's a bit harsh, but it's what they've been known as for at least 500 years, if not more. So by day, this is ruled by the goetic spirit Berith. So, quoting from Michael Ford, in an initiatory context, Berith may be a tool in the understanding of self, including the alchemical process of turning of gold, i.e., coming into being more, strengthening your form, the fiery essence of self. Berith is proves to be a powerful goetic servitor that you can summon to guard while going through some introspective rites. Now, we've been going through these introspective processes for, well, quite some time, let's be honest. And so again, it's rubber stamping that idea of, you knew you needed to let go of this thing, time to let go, time to put your plans into action, time to be you to the best of your ability. Now, by night, it is ruled by Flauros, or as I would know him, Horus. Now, he's one of the traditional 9 demonic divinities in traditional demonolatry, and he's described as typifying the perfect balance of physical, mental, and spiritual consciousness. So there's that, again, that coming into yourself and finding the whole, being true to yourself aspect, the whole this is who I know I am, and that bit there, I don't need it anymore, it's not me anymore, let's go, because I'm going along on this new path. Now, I am excited about this full moon also because of something that happened the day before. The day before, there was a near perfect 4 points of a pentagram in the sky. So let me just bring that up for you to see. Hopefully you'll be able to see the aspect lines, because they're quite faint. Solar Fire does them in a colour I find it really hard to see. But you notice the moon, Jupiter, Uranus, and Venus, which is a beautiful selection of planets. You've got the love and value of Venus, you've got the making things bigger of Jupiter, you have that emotional, in this term, it's what do I feel strongly about, and how can I make those things that I feel are beautiful in my life bigger? How can I make those things that I value in my life bigger? And then there's Uranus, which Uranus always causes upset, but on this particular point, I think if the unexpected occurs, it could only be bringing good news. Now, by the time we come to the full moon itself, you notice that near pentagram is split up into 2 sets of 3 3-pointed pentagrams. However, the Solar Fire doesn't do aspects, or at least I can't make it do aspects, to Black Moon Lilith. So we have Mars, Moon, and Black Moon Lilith taking action to heal hurt feelings, is how I'm reading that, and how I would want to read that. Bear in mind that Mars at the moment is being ruled by the goetic spirit Beleth, who is there's a certain sense of Beleth plays with time. There's a certain sense of immediacy here, but it's almost like you can take this energy and pocket it for a short while. And then the final three-pointed pentagram is again Venus, Uranus, Jupiter. So something unexpected about that which you value and can be made bigger, which I think is still beautiful, but especially coming off of that pentagram the day before. Now, I'm also very excited about this because the final point of that pentagram would be pretty much 4, 5, 6 degrees Libra. Guess whose moon is at 6 degrees Libra? So I am looking to take full advantage of such a beautiful astrological combination. Now let's just have a look before I go into the cards, because I got told off on comments about a long introduction to another reading that I did. So I don't want to waffle for too long, but the symbols of 3 degrees Capricorn and this full moon are also very interesting. I remember what really grabbed my attention is the Kosminski degree symbol, which is of Persephone rising gracefully from beneath to the upper world. The sun is shining and the surrounding country is rich in fields of corn, fruit, birds, flowers, whilst butterflies are sporting round her head. Now, I suppose according to the legend, that would not be directly true because spring doesn't start until Persephone comes up and Ceres or Demeter goes, you're back, and starts letting things happen. But it is still a beautiful image. So this is said to denote one of great power of endurance who forces himself, ill or well, to brush away obstacles in the way of his desires. What was I saying about letting things go? There is here a combination of mental, moral, and physical force, bringing us back to the idea of that rulership of Hares. A trinity which carries the native through danger and conditions most adverse. At birth, the soul is rising from the shadows, and as life advances, the temples of enchanting lights are reached, and constancy begets deathlessness. It is a symbol of perseverance. So, if you haven't started your 2021 plans, your post-2020, post-eclipse, post-Great Conjunction plans, get moving. Now is the start. So let's have a look at the Sapharial degree symbol, which is of a Vestal lamp burning brightly, an indication of an elevated and superior mind given to the study of things that are essentially spiritual. There's that other part of Hare's dominion here. There are aspiration and intuition in a superior degree. That's not easy to say. And such a one will probably seek and find in the silence of his own chamber the key to many of the higher mysteries of life and thought. So again, it's that looking internally, expressing externally. As within, so without. This is, do not let this full moon energies go to waste. Now, the Chandra symbol, or the inside degree symbol, is more curious, but I really like it because you will hear all the New Agers, and I get very bored with the New Agers, and with the New Age, sorry. That's not the New Agers, the New Age, because it's, we're living in such a special time. We are always living in such a special time. If you are living, it is a special time. Certainly for you and to a point globally, but we cannot deny there's big global things going on. So we have all been training for this moment. So Capricorn 4, the 4th degree of Capricorn, i.e. 3 degrees Capricorn, the Chandra symbol is footprints in the snow. And it's talking about how you were following your own footsteps. In the last previous lifetime, you set into motion a very full karmic momentum, which only got to midstream. This time, you first recapitulate the previous patterns and then set out where they lead. All of it, every step feels fated, inevitable. It is an uncannily strong inward impression. Yet, in order to permit the soul of this lifetime some measure of autonomy and freedom, this knowledge is held in the superconscious mind, and you can then cast about as though nothing had happened before, if you want, except that the inward instincts direct you in a predetermined course. And the lessons and the scenes are so very familiar. So blah, 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 when the individual karma is this strong. But we know this. I mean, let's be honest. If you're watching one of my readings and watching tarot readings on YouTube and all the other stuff, we know that we have practiced for this. And even if you accept like Dolores Cannon's 3 Waves of Volunteers, we have been practicing for this. And the now this is the Omega symbol, I think. As a cliff erodes, a temple is in danger of collapsing. Now, okay, there's a tower imagery, tower card imagery there, but there's also what it also talks about that Saturn-Uranus square we've got going on. The description to this says it needs change. And when they do, structures that may have depended on a long time, that may have been depended on for a long time, need to change as well to meet these new needs. That's it, needs change. Right, that makes sense. This is what this degree is aware of. It taps into the undercurrents of feeling and can see how those things are eroding the landscape of human thought. At its best, it's capable of suggesting means of change that take into the account the long range and which are practical. And again, we have practiced for this. Can you tell I'm really excited about this? I never thought I'd be excited about a Capricorn thing, but when you look, everything that Capricorn threw at us last year, the Jupiter-Pluto conjunctions, the building up to the great conjunction with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, various other things, eclipses last year and all that. This is beautiful. This is Pluto, who's there in Capricorn, going, okay, here is the end of it. Now, bear in mind, this full moon is a long, long away from Pluto. Pluto's at 26 degrees. The full moon's at 3 degrees. So it's co-present by sign. But Pluto's allowed everything to come full circle. And it's almost like he stepped to one side and said, there you go. I've done my work now. You crack on with starting the new things. And I will just check your work as you go past. But everything will be fine. Don't worry. You crack on with it. And so that's what I want to say with this full moon. Whatever it is, you crack on with it. There's all this creative energy around with Venus quintile Uranus, Venus quintile Jupiter. There's all this healing energy around with the quintiles between the moon, Mars and Lilith. There's that, especially if you've got early degrees of Libra planets, there's that energy from the pentagram the day before. This cannot be a bad thing if you take advantage of it, but you take advantage of it with self-knowledge. You take advantage of it after having really dug down on the inside and saying, is this what I want? Is this a bit of me I still want to be? What do I need to let go of? And let's already make sure that this full moon is the final letting go of those things. They will come back again. Of course they will. They will come back again for you to be able to walk straight past them and say, no, I've let go, I don't care. because that's how it works. You know, so when all these things that you've let go of pop their head up again in like 1, 2, 3 months, years time, it is there to say, huh, have you let go? Really? And if you use this full moon energy right, the answer is a resounding yes. Yes, I have. Now, this is before I've done the show with David, so that's how I'm reading the full moon, purely on the basis of the angels and the demons that are involved here, and some of the aspects, but minor aspects. We'll see what David makes of it. In the meantime, I'll bring your cards up in a second. If you want a personal reading, don't forget that Facebook link. Please feel free to share the video because it helps, and press the like button because it helps YouTube notice I exist, which I'm not sure it has yet, really. In the meantime, yeah, let me bring up the cards. Okay, Leo, as I said in the introduction, this top row is the masks that the archons are wearing as they're trying to keep you separate from your divine purpose. And this bottom row are the gods trying to lift you up and connect you with those higher energies, God, your divine self, however you want to look at it. Now, what is interesting is that we have Hera on both sides here. So here representing duty from the archons, and representing relating and interacting from the God side of things. Now, let me just go through. So the archontic masks. We have Odin with guidance, Hera with duty, as I just said, Bast with play, Themis with cosmic order, and Pythia with knowledge. Now, what this is telling me is certainly with Odin and Pythia as archontic masks here, is someone is telling you how things are supposed to be and how it is your duty to make sure that things are this way. And I want to use a phrase, but I don't think it exists. But you know the phrase, your hero has feet of clay. Well, here I'm feeling like your teacher or self-assumed teacher has feet of clay. What this card says is stop looking to other people for the answers. And that doesn't really matter whether that card is on the archontic side or on the divine side here. But there is a point here for you to make a decision, because that is opposed by Ma'at with judgment. However, this seems to be very much to do about personal relationships where you are protected. You may have noticed if you watched the shuffle video that these two cards fell out as I was extracting this one. Now, it's Athena and Heracles. Nothing much in common, you would think, apart from protector and protectress. So there is something where maybe you're being called to protect someone, or maybe you are being protected in the way that you are relating, and I want to say relating to something new. Something new, something that you cannot deny, something that comes along and changes things for you, and you cannot deny it. And it flies in the face of whatever it is that you are being told about what your duty is and how things have to be this way and should be this way, and this is only right, and this is why, and this is this, and this is that. And like I said, your teacher has feet of clay. One thing that I felt when I overturned the Odin card. Now, this is a theme running through this month's, some of this month's readings, to be honest. This sense of someone coming in and telling you how things should be, and you're going, nah, no. But I don't think for you it's an instant knowing of nah, no. I think that you may be told about how the way things are, and then suddenly you discover something that changes everything. That you have Poseidon here, Earthshaker, Maui with discovery, but also Freya with irresistibility. And now you can say, I mean, Freya's a harvest goddess as well, isn't she? I think she's goddess of the field, although she's a warrior as well. Um, but with irresistibility, I'm not thinking that sense of sexual allure. I'm thinking about the irresistibility of a rolling boulder, a hurricane, the transition of night to day or day to night. There's because here also, from the Oracle of Heaven and Hell, Azazel, I didn't stumble over it this time, with divine comfort, and Achaya with patience. This is a situation that's taking quite a while to unfurl. And as it unfurls, you are protected here. And it is to do with how you are relating to that which is established and that which is coming in new. Because this new thing that is coming in, and I'm seeing this as positive. Remember, this is coming in on the row of the gods who are trying to lift you up. This new thing, don't necessarily expect an immediate revelation of, oh my God, this changes everything. It's more of a dawning realization of, oh my God, this changes everything. And there's a call to keep all of it in balance. So yeah, you can listen to whoever it is who is saying you need to do your duty here. You need, because it needs to be this way. It needs to be that way. It's like, no, you don't have to do your duty here, because what they are saying your duty is not what your duty is. And that's the point that you have to point out. But you can do that slowly. Do it with a little bit of wisdom, do it gently and slowly, keeping balance in that situation before you come to a point of making a final decision. Now, I did ask Leo, before I put the cards down, please let it be a nice reading for Leo. Because I seem to remember the last one for you was blooming miserable. And a few of them have been blooming miserable as well. But I do think there's a niceness here. But I don't think it's a, oh my God, here, immediate, instant niceness. It's slowly growing, slowly unfurling. Especially with Ma'at is not necessarily a goddess who moves fast. Freya, that irresistibility can be slow just as much as it can be fast. Although Poseidon's Earthshaker does indicate some speed, Hera doesn't necessarily. She was known as being quite fixed in her attitudes, because when all said and done, she's also the goddess of commitment. By being a goddess of marriage, she is a goddess of commitment. So yeah, let it take time. And also, so also if you are working to try and conserve material resources at somebody else's behest, don't worry about that so much. Now, Bast. That's the other thing that I do feel like by someone trying to tell you what your duty is, they are playing with you. And they are trying to show a ferocious side, or more to the point, they're trying to unleash a ferocious side in you because they're getting you to do their dirty work. But there is a call here to level up that gives quite a bit of happiness here. And we've got the Nine of Swords. When this final decision with Mart comes, it may stress you out. Absolutely. But I also believe that by taking time for that decision, you will be surprised at the amount of information and wisdom you are able to bring to bear because you have taken time to make that decision. Because yes, this new influence, whatever it is asking you to level up, is asking you to move forward, and does promise you a fair amount of happiness. I mean, it's the sun. It's, as I call it, the happy, happy, joy, joy card. And it also, it implies new life. It implies results. You know, if you put seed in a field, it ain't going to grow if there ain't no sun. It's just going to freeze. So there's and Three of Wands here. You can move forward in a protected fashion. But I really don't like this Judgment card. If someone comes to you and says, we have all the facts, here's the facts, make your mind up, they don't have all the facts. They have all the facts that they want you to hear. That's pretty much everything that I see there, Leo. So it is more positive than last time, eh? So if it means anything to you, do comment down below. Obviously, go watch your moon and your rising signs now for a, what was it, how one of the readers say it, for a complete picture. But also there's a link in the description, or should be, for the astrology show that I did with David. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed. And I would be surprised if there are any Leo subscribers, to be quite honest, because you've been receiving such poo readings from me. So yeah, let me know if you're actually a Leo subscriber, for which I am very grateful for you sticking with me, especially after everything I've put you through. But I hope you know what I mean. Yeah. Cheers.